Some homes don't just hold memories, they hold unfinished chapters. Inside Ninjaman's former Kingston home, time feels paused, as if the walls are still listening. This was once the space of a man whose voice shaped dancehall culture, whose energy filled stages, and whose name carried weight across Jamaica. Known as Ninjaman, his legacy remains loud, even as his life stands still. This is not a story of glamour, but of impact, choices, and consequence. And to understand how it all began, we need to go back to the early life that shaped the man behind the microphone. Before the world knew his voice, there was a boy listening closely to the rhythm of Jamaica. Born on January 24, 1966, in the coastal town of Enoto Bay, St. Mary Parish, Ninjaman, born Desmond John Ballantyne, entered life far from the bright lights of Kingston. But that distance didn't last long. At just 12 years old, he moved to the capital, stepping into a city where sound systems ruled the streets and reputation was earned one clash at a time. Music quickly became his language. By the age of 14, he was already performing as a DJ with the Black Culture sound system under the name Double Ugly. It was raw, loud, and fearless, exactly what Kingston's competitive dancehall circuit demanded. His energy and hunger soon carried him to the legendary Kilimanjaro sound system, where he sharpened his craft alongside rising stars like Supercat and Early B. Those nights weren't just performances, they were lessons in survival, timing, and dominance. During this period, he recorded his first single as Ugly Man, before settling on the name that would define an era, Ninjaman. The late 1980s marked his breakthrough. In 1987, the duet Protection with Courtney Melody announced him as more than a sound system warrior. Between 1989 and 1992, Ninjaman stood at the center of dancehall's most intense period, releasing tracks like Border Clash, Murder Dem, Permit to Bury, and Above the Law. His style was unmistakable: gritty lyrics, a slurred delivery, and performances charged with confrontation. He didn't just perform, he challenged. Rivalries with artists such as Florgon, Supercat, and Shabba Ranks became legendary, turning clashes into cultural moments that still echo in dancehall history. But fame came with a cost. By the early 1990s, public pressure mounted against violent lyrics in dancehall, and Ninjaman found himself increasingly sidelined. Opportunities slowed. At the same time, personal struggles surfaced, including a battle with crack cocaine addiction. The man known for commanding crowds was now searching for direction. By 1997, he made a dramatic pivot. Embracing born-again Christianity, he reintroduced himself as Brother Desmond, performing gospel reggae that reflected repentance and reflection. It was a surprising turn, but a sincere one. Around this period, he also explored acting, stepping into Jamaican cinema. His role in Third World Cop, 1999, produced by Chris Blackwell, became part of a landmark film that achieved record-breaking success locally. He followed with appearances in Rude Boy, The Jamaican Don, 2003, and Gangsta's Paradise, 2004, proving his presence could extend beyond the microphone. Even as legal troubles cast long shadows over his life, moments of resilience continued to surface. In 2014, support from Down Sound Records helped him regain his passport, opening the door to a Caribbean tour and renewed hope. A year later, he launched Picture Frame Studio in Kingston, signaling an effort to rebuild and give back to the culture that shaped him. His 2017 collaboration, Money, with Collapsing Scenery, would become one of his final musical statements before his life entered a prolonged pause. Ninjaman's journey is complex, marked by brilliance, controversy, faith, and consequence. Yet his impact on dancehall remains undeniable. And to understand that impact fully, we need to step into the place where much of that life unfolded, the former Kingston home that still carries the weight of his legacy. Former Kingston Home. Walking through Ninjaman's former Kingston home, you can still sense the presence of a man who once lived loudly, and unapologetically. The property doesn't scream excess, but it carries confidence. Set back from the road, a wide driveway leads you in, framed by a carefully maintained garden that once signaled status and stability in a city where both are hard-earned. The house itself is solid and imposing, a two-story structure built more for permanence than show. Step inside and the first impression is space. The ground floor opens into a generously sized living room, anchored by a fireplace that suggests evenings spent indoors, away from the noise of the streets. This was not just a performer's house, it was a place meant to be lived in. Just beyond the living area sits a separate dining room, simple but purposeful. Large, sliding glass doors draw your attention outward, opening onto a covered back patio. From there, the home flows naturally into a broad terrace and garden space, shaded by mature trees. It's easy to imagine gatherings here, music playing softly, conversations stretching late into the night, the city fading into the background. Upstairs, the mood lightens. 3 bright, well-proportioned bedrooms line the upper floor, each offering ample closet space and natural light. These rooms feel open and calm, a contrast to the intensity that defined much of Ninjaman's public life. From the windows, the surrounding greenery reminds you how much land this property commands. Nearly an acre, a rare luxury in Kingston. Today, the house stands quieter than it once did. The walls remain, the layout unchanged, but the energy has shifted. What was once a hub of movement, ambition, and sound now feels paused, a physical reminder of how quickly life can change. And as solid as this home once was, it also represents something deeper, a time when success was tangible, before legal battles froze momentum. To understand what supported this lifestyle, and what was lost along the way, we need to look next at Ninjaman's income and financial rise. Income and net worth. For Ninjaman, money followed momentum. At the height of his influence, his voice carried weight across Jamaica and far beyond its borders. With an estimated net worth of around $1 million, his earnings were built primarily during the late 1980s and early 1990s, when dancehall was raw, competitive, and hungry for performers who could dominate a stage. Music was his engine. Songs like Protection, Murder Dem, and Permit to Bury became fixtures in sound systems, generating income through sales, radio play, and performance demand. Between 1989 and 1992, international tours and collaborations with producers such as King Jammy placed Ninjaman at his commercial peak. Live shows were especially lucrative. His fearless stage presence and sharp freestyle ability made him a consistent draw, keeping bookings steady even as the scene grew more crowded. He also expanded into film, appearing in Third World Cop, 1999, Rude Boy, The Jamaican Don, 2003, and Gangsta's Paradise, 2004. While acting never rivaled music financially, it strengthened his public profile and added supplemental income during periods when recording slowed. Legal battles would ultimately eclipse everything else. Arrests in 2009 led to overwhelming legal expenses, including a reported $2 million bail, draining resources and freezing momentum. His 2017 conviction and life sentence effectively ended touring, recording, and any sustainable income stream, leaving finances constrained and complicated. Ninjaman's wealth tells a sobering story. Early success, real earnings, and the heavy price of choices. To understand what remains beyond the numbers, the next chapter looks inward, at his personal life, relationships, and the human cost behind the legend. Personal life and legal issues. His private world often became public conversation, especially when it came to family. Over the years, he openly acknowledged fathering an unusually large number of children. In a 2003 interview, he stated he had 23 children with 22 different women. By 2012, That figure had risen, by his own account, to 29 children with 28 women. Later, unverified reports in Jamaican media suggested the number could be even higher. While many details remain private and difficult to confirm, the scale alone made headlines and became part of his larger-than-life persona. Among the children he has publicly acknowledged are his son Janiel, sometimes spelled Janail, and a daughter named Samantha, while most of the others have been kept out of the spotlight. But family stories were eventually overshadowed by far more serious events. Ninjaman's fall from grace reached a turning point in March 2009 when he and his son Janiel were arrested in connection with the killing of Ricardo "Ricky Trooper" Johnson. The incident occurred on Mall Road in Kingston's Olympic Gardens community, reportedly following a domestic dispute that escalated violently. The case quickly became one of the most closely watched legal battles involving a dancehall figure. After spending nearly 3 years in custody, Ninjaman was granted bail in 2012, set at a staggering sum that reflected the seriousness of the charges. What followed was a drawn-out legal process marked by delays and frustration. More than 20 trial dates were recorded, with 17 missed, drawing criticism of Jamaica's slow judicial system. Finally, on November 20th, 2017, the verdict was delivered. Ninjaman, his son Janiel, and co-accused Dennis Clayton were found guilty of murder and shooting with intent. Sentencing followed on December 18th. Ninjaman received a life sentence, with eligibility for parole only after serving 25 years, along with a concurrent 20-year sentence for the related firearms charge. His son and Clayton were also sentenced to life imprisonment, with parole eligibility after 15 years. This conviction did not stand in isolation. During the 1990s, Ninjaman had already faced multiple legal issues, including a 1999 conviction for illegal possession of a firearm. Prosecutors pointed to this history as evidence of a repeated pattern, and the judge cited it as a factor in determining the severity of the final sentence. Despite everything, Ninjaman has consistently maintained his innocence. His attorney, Queen's Counsel Valerie Nada Robertson, announced plans to appeal the conviction, with proceedings scheduled for June 2025, a date that still represents a narrow window of hope. Before his arrest, Ninjaman was living in Kingston, deeply rooted in the same urban environment that shaped his music. Olympic Gardens, where the fatal incident occurred, is known for both its strong cultural identity and its struggles with crime and poverty, realities that echoed throughout his lyrics and public image. Yet even amid controversy, another side of Ninjaman has persisted. Acts of generosity surfaced long before his incarceration. In 2017, he publicly assisted a struggling family, offering financial support to children attempting to pay school fees by reupholstering furniture. His gesture inspired others to donate food and household supplies. Around the same time, he spoke about plans for a radio program called Problem Line, envisioned as a space to address community issues alongside fellow artists like Busy Signal and Josie Wales. Even behind bars, that impulse did not disappear. In 2018, he helped organize a large charity event, Jamboree, held at Hyde Park Football Field in Kingston, featuring major dancehall acts with proceeds directed toward community aid. In later years, he turned his attention to prison reform. In 2023, he reportedly reached out to government officials with proposals for vocational training programs for inmates, including furniture making, aimed at reducing repeat offenses and supporting reintegration. Ninjaman's life remains one of stark contrasts: immense talent and cultural influence, personal excess and legal consequence. Love him or criticize him, his story stands as a powerful, cautionary chapter in dancehall history, a reminder of how thin the line can be between legacy and loss. Thank you for staying with us through this journey. If this story moved you, please like the video, subscribe for more real-life music legacies, and share your thoughts in the comments. Some stories don't end, they pause.